name's Emmanuel Krasner. Most people call me Manny, and I think I'm mostly known as Manny Krasner. I've been a lawyer here in Farmington for over 40 years, and I have finally decided to run for state legislature. And I am asking for your support and your vote on November 6th. I started really living here in Farmington about 40 years ago. I owned some property and built a log cabin, but while I was still teaching in Rochester, but I moved off, went to Rutgers Law School. And when I got back, Pat and I, my wife Pat Frizella and I, were looking around. We knew where we lived. We lived in Farmington, but the question was, where would I open my law office? And the decision was to open it here in Farmington. And that was partly because Farmington was a more welcoming community. The two lawyers who are already here, Gene Newton and Bill Cullimore, actually said, you know, there's a room for another lawyer here in Farmington, which was very different from everywhere else. So that sort of set the tone for the community for me. And I have been here ever since. I have moved my office from one place to another and actually bought this building, which I recently sold. So I've stayed right here in Farmington for literally 44 years and practiced law here. And in the course of that, I have seen, just in my day-to-day work, the impact that the laws made in Concord have on people here. And a lot of it is not good for the people here, and I would like to change that. I see that we have a problem in Concord. I've been complaining about it for at least 30 years, and I figure it's time to try to be part of the solution. You know, and when I say I see it, I mean I have clients who get hurt in car accidents. They can't afford health care. They can't afford to get their injury treated. You know, people say, oh, everybody gets health care who needs it. Not true. Everybody can go to the emergency room and you get seen there. But the doctor at the emergency room says, you got a broken arm, go see an orthopedic. The orthopedic says, what's your insurance? If you don't have any insurance, he says, fine, $300 for the first visit. So people don't get treated. I had one client who had a torn rotator cuff that he walked around with for 2 years until Medicaid expansion came in and he was finally eligible and could get his shoulder fixed and get back to work. And even people with insurance often can't get treated. You know, there are people who are referred to physical therapy. They can't afford the $20 a session 3 times a week for their copay. So I see the problems. I have families in my practice where one person has had to stop working because the daycare subsidy got cut. And again, that's out of Concord. What's happening in Concord is not people making laws for the benefit of all the people in New Hampshire. They're making it to advance some ideologies. They're making them to benefit certain very wealthy people, but not for the people here in this town. And that's what really motivates me. I see my clients from Farmington, I see my fellow citizens from Farmington getting the fuzzy end of the lollipop on what goes on in Concord. And I very much want to stop that, and I very much want to change that so that the state starts doing some things that are good for people here in town. Thank you.